What is going on? My name is Jake Hofer. I'm a real estate broker out of the state of Illinois and co-owner of Exodus. And today we are sharing an interesting conversation from the Land Podcast. It is with Tyler Tisue. Tyler is from the state of Iowa. He is an agent with LandProz, and he has seen the economy take multiple cycles and what impact has it had in recreational markets. So we're diving into that today. What could we expect if the economy tanks? There's a lot of talks and uncertainty with a variety of things, but we're talking all about it here. And hopefully you guys find some value out of this conversation. If you do, hit the subscribe button. Now let's get right into the conversation.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a down economy is going to come, but it's going to get, it's not going to stay like this.
Sure.
It's not going to stay like a hot market like it is right now.
Sure. Now, with any type of market cycle, do you think that, and you've seen multiple market cycles now, if you started in 2007, of big buyers coming in and scooping up larger deals that are maybe in distress? Maybe it's with cash on the sideline. Because, I mean, there's a lot of folks that I know that have made a point to reach out to me, and they're like, well, everyone's always looking for a deal at all times if they have a pulse and they like land, but they're patient. And I was like, well, right now there's no quote unquote screaming deals. They're like, well, we're patient. We can buy cash when things draw back. Did you see that happen in 2008, 9, 10?
Yeah. So that's really when it happened, was in 2008. And there would certainly be those deals. But it wasn't, but there wasn't a ton of, like, it wasn't like guys were fire sailing or anything like that. I mean,
like 10, 15% discounts.
I don't even know about that, in a lot
Yeah.
of stuff, because it just really, unless somebody was really in a distressed situation, which there was some of those that would come around, it really didn't happen that often. What I noticed through 2008, which, by the way, during that time period, I was working for Whitetail Properties. I did not sell a farm for 6 months during that time period. And then my partner at that time, who was my hunting partner, and we also worked together with real estate, was Rich Baugh, who's still in Southeast Iowa with Whitetail Properties there. He didn't sell one for 9 months. And so we went through a time period where we just didn't, nobody bought, nobody sold. It was just stagnant. But what happened too is that the prices really didn't go down. They just hovered there because nobody wanted to sell at a loss. And a lot of these farms maybe had some income. They could make it over a year. I think, the only time period we've even really had where, at least in our lifetime, my lifetime, where prices actually went backwards significantly was in the early to mid 80s, when we had super high interest rates.
Yeah.
And first off, I don't even see that happening, going forward in the future, is because first off, our country can't afford that, that type of interest, because they can't pay off the debt at that rate. And they know it's not good for the economy, as it was proven, in the 80s when that came through. So I don't see that really happening, but where there's going to be some changes, where is there going to be some people that are going to sell at a discount? Absolutely. But I don't think it's going to be huge losses unless you find somebody that really is in a distressed situation.
Sure.
I just, during that time period, I didn't see it really happening, especially with productive land. A lot of these people just don't have to sell unless they were so leveraged on so much other stuff during that time, which you'll get some of those guys at work, but it's just not, I don't think it's going to happen a ton.
Sure. No, I'm glad you bring that up, because I think some people think that there's just like this magical golden time where you can just get the steal of the century. And I would say maybe that's not the case based on what you're saying, because everyone's like, oh man, I'm just waiting for this. Well, I love the people that have been, even within the last 2 years, like, oh, I'm waiting for the economy to crash. It's going to be, I'm going to get a steal. Well, and then everything has gone up 25, 30%. And you're like, you're still sitting on the sidelines.
Yeah. And there was a part of my mentality where I was always like, okay, hey, wait for the bottom, and here's what happened is that I watched everything go up. I just kept on watching everything go up. And it's like, and I noticed that from an early time when I was doing this, and I'm like, it basically came like, what the hell am I doing sitting on the sidelines? I mean, I know land, I love land. Why am I not investing in this thing? Yeah, maybe I'm not buying at the exact bottom. Maybe it has a little bit of a correction here, next year. Land has always gone up. I mean, the thing that we forget too is, like, when you watch the history of land, is, I mean, in the 70s, we had 100 million people, 100 million, like, less people in this country. I mean, we've got so many more people in this country now that we've got a population that's growing, that needs to be fed, that is looking for land. I mean, land's not going down unless you had some super black swan event, or we get in this war with Russia and they start throwing nukes at us, I mean,
right.
That stuff's not happening, which if that happens, we're all screwed. You know, it doesn't really matter.
You're not buying ground anyhow, or selling it.
You can survive.
Yeah.
So I just don't see, a whole lot of, a black swan event necessarily happening like that. Could it? Yeah, maybe. But you just win out with land. They're not making any more of it. I mean, especially if you can find a good productive piece, in whatever way it is. I mean, whether it's tillable or whether it's deer land. I mean, because even recreation land, deer hunting on it, that's the deer is the commodity. And that's why some properties are better than others and bring out much higher price because of that.